Hi, I'm NA Fantasy. With North America FanFest around the corner, I wanted to talk about official and unofficial Final Fantasy events. I wanted to start things off with a Final Fantasy XIV convention I recently attended. This past October, I attended Gateway Fate 2.0 in St. Charles, Missouri. Gateway Fate is a 2-day American-based unofficial Final Fantasy convention themed around Final Fantasy XIV. It's produced by the same company behind Anime St. Louis, and they have zero affiliation with Square Enix or the 14 Dev team. It's purely a labor of love made by Final Fantasy fans for Final Fantasy fans. 2025 was Gateway Fate's second year running, and it took place at the St. Charles Convention Center. I attended this con by myself, and I had an amazing time. I only had time to attend Saturday from 11 a.m. to about 7 p.m. And even though I was only there for 8 hours, I had a blast. Since the event is run as a convention, I knew to expect the typical anime convention style approach. From the vendor hall, panels, cosplay contests, karaoke to a drag show, Gateway Fate had a little bit of everything for everyone. Between my 8 hours, I went to 4 panels, did a lot of shopping, and got photos and autographs from the guests. I was having so much fun that time just flew by. As the evening events were starting, I was seriously considering grabbing a room so I didn't have to drive 4 hours back home in the rain. Ultimately, I made the difficult decision to drive home with the promise to stay a full weekend next year. I want to talk about the positive and negatives I experienced during Gateway Fate. Starting with the positives, there was such a wide range of panels to go to. There were several that caught my eye on the schedule, but I did not have time to attend them all. The panels I did attend were the sticker trade, Weird but True, How Fish Lore Tells Its Own Stories, the voice acting panel with Erica, Javier, and Luis, and lastly, John Oath's One Night Under the Aetherite performance. The ones I wish I had time for were 1 Minute Wools, So You Want to Know How to G-Pose, Karaoke, Dragsidia, The Social Prom, Creating an RP Character, the Costume Contest, the most useful Final Fantasy websites that won't break terms of service, You Mean to Tell Me That's a Real Fish? Again? And Who Wants to Be a Gillionaire? And those were just the panels alone. They had a rabbit rescue that was open to the public where you can pet and meet rescued rabbits, a fortune teller, an art party, tabletop gaming, and more. I was never bored at any point of this convention. The biggest highlight for me was the sticker trading. I was very unprepared for the sticker trade, so I pulled out my old Artist Alley stock to trade. Next year, I'll be more prepared, and I can't wait to see what kind of haul I bring home. Speaking of hauls, the shopping was insane. All the vendor tables had such good stuff. I honestly didn't bother with a budget. If I wanted it, I got it. The quality of everyone's work was fantastic. My favorite buy has to be the Grahatia crossbody bag and the Summerstone necklace. Every table had something unique, and it was really hard not to buy something from everyone. Even though the vendors were very Final Fantasy focused, there was still plenty of non-Final Fantasy merch to buy. A spotlight I wanted to mention about the vendor hall was how considerate everyone was when it came to busy tables. The vendor hall space was very big and open, and I feel like they organized the tables very well. Because how the tables were laid out when a particular table was busy, attendees made a line to the table. Any other convention, people would just crowd the table and force their way through the mob to buy something. Forming a line made it easy to quickly check out what the artist had to sell and jump in line. The overall etiquette of the convention was very chill. Everyone was very respectable and considerate. There was never a moment that I felt uncomfortable, unsafe, bored, or annoyed. The in and out privileges of Gateway Fate was really nice as well. The venue had open free parking, and I was able to leave to grab lunch and come back. They did have a security checkpoint, and it was never a hassle coming and going from the venue. Now for the negatives, and honestly, there wasn't many. The biggest complaint I have isn't even Gateway Fate's fault. It rained all day on Saturday. From the time I drove in to the entire drive back home, it rained. It rained so much that at one point there was a power outage. Again, not the venue's fault. I was in the vendor hall when it happened, and everyone was very calm about the situation. It likely gave the vendors a nice break to stretch their legs and walk around the vendor hall for themselves. The blackout didn't last very long either. Everyone was back up and running in no time. When I arrived at Gateway Fate and picked up my badge, they had run out of physical program books. They did have an online version that I could read through, but I much prefer the convenience of having a physical program book to thumb through. They did have physical printouts of the schedule that also had a map of the venue on the back, but since the map did not have the vendor tables numbered, I would have to reference the program book on my phone to find any specific table. Not the biggest of deals, but just a slight inconvenience. Going back to the badges, for a Saturday badge it cost me $80 after tax. For a one-day badge, I would expect a price around $60 to $65. To me, $80 for a one-day badge was pretty steep. The last gripe I have is with the venue itself. The venue did have a cafe, but it was closed all day. I really needed coffee that day and I had to go without, and it really sucked. Some honorable mentions I wanted to bring up before I move on. I like that they had picked a Midwest location to host the event. I will admit I am biased. It was convenient and easy for me to go to Gateway Fate as a day trip. I hope they continue to keep the location in the Midwest. I think it's a good compromise location that hopefully is an easy trip a lot of people can make. They did offer early bird pre-registration incentives. Since I had decided to attend Gateway Fate very last minute, I missed out on these deals. From what I can tell, they had a really nice tote bag with goodies inside and autograph bundles. I saw a lot of people walking around with the tote bags. If you got one of these bags, I would love to get your thoughts on them. It was also really easy to meet the guests they invited. I was able to get several photos and autographs on Saturday. I'm not the type of person that would typically go out of my way to get autographs, but with how accessible and easy it was to meet them and get a signature, I went for it and I'm glad I did. My final thoughts on Gateway Fate is that it was amazing. I was surprised to find out that the attendance count was a little over 700 people. I would love for this to be a yearly event for not just Final Fantasy XIV fans, but for all Final Fantasy fans. If you love Final Fantasy XIV or Final Fantasy, spread the word. Take a chance on this convention because I promise you, it is worth it. I really felt like the community was well represented here in every aspect. To learn more about Gateway Fate, I highly recommend checking out not only the website, but their Blue Sky account for updates. And also read through their 2025 doc and their 2026 proposal doc. This convention has the potential to be a great yearly event for free company members, community members, and friends to meet up every year. FanFest 2026 has been announced, and recently the North American tickets have sold out. Like they did for the 2023 FanFest, they started with the player-exclusive ticket drawings. At this time, we don't know for sure how many North American FanFest tickets sold in both the pre-sale and the public sale. The 2023 FanFest attendance was approximately 15,000 people, and this number was too much for the Vegas venue to handle. My guess is with the event now in Anaheim, they would likely use 1,500 as their base number. Keep in mind, this is my speculation and not at all fact. A few years ago, I made a video talking about my experience at the 2023 FanFest, and that it didn't live up to the expectations I was hoping for. I had a good time, but based on that experience, I had already decided I wasn't going to attend the 2026 FanFest. However, I did opt into the player-exclusive ticket drawings as a Hail Mary, in the off chance I would get the email. Since I didn't, I took that as a sign that I'm not going to FanFest. My free company did also opt in for the player-exclusive ticket drawings, and only 2 members got the email. I am happy to report that during the public sale, up to 4 people made it through the queue so they can buy 2 tickets each, which is impressive considering the public sale sold out under 20 minutes. As expected, you can find posts online of players disappointed they can't attend FanFest because the tickets sold out. As for scalpers, I only found one post on eBay. I'm not someone to tell people how to spend their money, but please do not buy scalp tickets. These are scams in price and are often fake tickets. The price for the 2026 tickets did go up to $265 after fees. The 2023 tickets were $200 before fees. That price itself is what ultimately turned me off to going to the 2026 FanFest. Even if I had won the player exclusive drawing, I would have likely given my tickets to my free company members instead. Despite the state of the game, the reviews of Dawn Trail, the decline in players, and criticism the game has been facing, there seems to still be a demand for events like FanFest. right? I can only speak to North America. For official events, we have FanFest and events like Anime Expo and PAX, although these two are not exclusively Final Fantasy events. For unofficial Final Fantasy events, there's CupaCon and now Gateway Fate. CupaCon primarily operates in Canada and the UK. The last time they held a US event was in 2019 in New Jersey. It looks like the CupaCon attendance typically ranges from 1,000 to 1,500 people, and depending on the venue, the attendance is capped. With Gateway Fate now joining the fray as a US convention, I'm hopeful that this event will grow and be an alternative for those who couldn't attend FanFest. With how far apart each FanFest is, it would be nice to have a yearly local convention to engage with the community. Events like CupaCon and Gateway Fate aren't meant as replacements to FanFest, and will probably never reach those attendance numbers. But I have been to large-scale conventions before, and I've been attending cons since 2006, and I just find it hard to believe that for an event like FanFest with the demand it has, it's so hard to get tickets. I understand that FanFest does not operate the same way an anime convention does. For expos like FanFest, everyone is usually doing the same things. Watching the keynote, the live letter, cosplay contest, basically whatever is going on the main stage. Yes, North America FanFest did have activities, autographs, and photo ops, but despite this, everyone is usually all in the same place. At conventions, attendees are all off doing their own things. Between fan-run panels, dealer halls, main stage shows, and the like, attendees are usually spread out across the entire venue. So I understand if FanFest has to limit their ticket sales because how it simply operates. But there must be a venue out there that meets the demand for it. I'm curious to see how the ticket sales for the EU and JP FanFest go. Since each FanFest are live streamed, I'll likely be watching it along with my free company members. I'm very much looking forward to the next expansion, and I'm very excited to see where the story is going to go post Dawn Trail. I don't know what the future holds in store for Square, Final Fantasy XIV, or FanFest. I'm happy I got a chance to attend the 2023 FanFest, but I'm thankful to have discovered a convention like Gateway Fate. I hope by making this video, other fans learn more about Gateway Fate and consider going next year. Next year, I'm 100% going back to Gateway Fate. Next time, I'll be more prepared with my own Warrior Flight sticker, a hotel room, and an umbrella, just in case it decides to rain all day again. Thank you for watching my video. I really just wanted to talk about Gateway Fate and how much fun I had, and thoughts I've been having about FanFest. And I'm really curious to see where FanFest goes, if it changes how it wants to operate, if it changes venues again next year for North America FanFest or any of the FanFests. So yeah, I'm just gonna see what happens in 2030, I guess is when the next FanFest is going to be, and I'll think about going to that one. Until next time, thanks for watching.